Hey guys, Poulin here from Party Time DJ Services with yet another active speaker review. I say another active speaker review, but it's actually been almost 3 years since the last one. Obviously, a lot of us haven't been doing a lot of DJing in the last few years. Hopefully, things will be changing very shortly as things are opening up here in Ontario. Anyway, I did DJ a few weddings this summer that just passed, but other than that, it's been pretty quiet. So I haven't had a chance to play with too much gear lately. But I decided, you know what, it's time to make a new video. Something more recent. The last one I did, I think, was of Yorkville's Mobile 12, Mackie Thumb 12A, and also did some Elite 10Ps. And before that, I did, I think, my new DXS12 MK2 subs, which I still have right here, and did use at my weddings this summer. So anyway, today we're looking at something brand new from Yorkville. I was at my local line McQuaid a few days ago, and I saw that they finally received the new YXL speakers from Yorkville. Basically an upgrade to the older YX line. I owned the YX15Ps for a few years, and I had reviewed the YX10P. And anyway, always been a very good value, the YX line. This is basically just a brand new, freshly updated line with, again, still a value line, but with tons of features, great output, and really terrific sound. So let's have a look at the YXL12P. I'm not going to flip around since you're probably tired of seeing me. But anyway, during the pandemic, while I didn't play much music, I did decide to get myself in shape because I am 45 years old and I'm a 45-year-old DJ. I said, you know, if I want to be here for a while, I'm going to have to lose some weight and start eating right. So I've done not quite keto, but like a low-carb diet, eating healthier, more vegetables combined with meat, fish, chicken, and stuff. Drinking tea, water, some milk instead of sweetened beverages. Not eating processed food or very little of it, trying to stay as whole food as possible. And like I say, drinking tea and coffee and water instead of sugary drinks. And I eat a lot of dark chocolate. That's pretty much my treat, dark chocolate. But in the last 3 years, I've managed to lose about 55 pounds and keep it off. My blood pressure is now normal range. I am no longer pre-diabetic. I used to have a 6.1 A1C, now I'm down to 5.5. So that's all good news for me. Just had my blood work done because I do eat about, I'm going to say about a dozen eggs a week. So you always get worried about your cholesterol. Same thing with eating meat and stuff. So all cholesterol is beautiful. My triglycerides are lower than they've ever been. Everything is in ideal range. So I feel great. Great to be partying this summer, hopefully doing a few weddings. But anyway, enough of me. Let's get to the speaker review. I just haven't talked to you guys in a while, so I just need to catch up a little bit. I haven't done too much musically because I'm also a children's entertainer. I do sing for children in French, en français, sous le nom d'Ami Alain. While I haven't released any new CDs, it's kind of hard to release CDs these days. I do make myself, give myself a mission to produce a new French Christmas song every Christmas. So I've done that for the past 2 years, and I did that this year as well. So you can actually see those videos on my channel if you actually understand French. But anyway, as I was mentioning, enough about me. Let's get down to the speaker review. So we're going to have a look at Yorkville's new YXL line, more particularly the YXL12P is the speaker that I chose for this review. My local line McQuaid actually had the YXL10P, 12P, as well as the new active 15-inch sub, which hopefully I will try later. But there's also the YXL15P in the line that I will also like to test eventually. But today we're looking at the YXL, sorry about my fingers, are you looking at the YXL12P? I will flip the camera around so we can have a look at this new speaker from Yorkville. And there you go. Oh, there's a shot of my, because you know this is my studio, but it's also a laundry room. Not so exciting, right? But this is where I look. I'm on Facebook, yeah. But this is where I do my computing, my music, and I also have a nice little collection of '80s retro stuff. Those old little ghetto blasters I had when I was a kid, Pac-Man games. Anyway, let's get over to the Yorkville active speakers. This is the YXL12P, a 1,000 watt, 12-inch, 1-inch compression driver active speaker. With a whole lot of features, a very nice mixer section. As you can see, the box is a typical polypropylene plastic box, but a very nice looking, clean look. That's the thing, the Parasaurus series is great. I'm not sure I love the grill, front grill. The Elites look beautiful. And well, they've always looked pretty much the same, but these new, these new YXL series have a very nice, clean look. Would look great at weddings and stuff like that. and they're just great for the beginner DJ. If the beginner DJ goes into the music store and sees the Mackie Thump and then sees the Yorkville YXL12P next to it, I'm hoping that they will go with the better option, which is the YXL12P or YXL15P. I have nothing against Mackie. They're just not my favorite company, and customer service is not great. While Yorkville is a Canadian company, and their service has always been exceptional. And if you're dealing with Long and McQuaid, they have a great warranty. You can always buy extra years of warranty if you wish. So they're very well serviced. They are in the rental department, so Yorkville is generally designed and built to last. I'm sure we have a lot of DJs that are Yorkville fans there in Canada. I personally myself have quite the variety of speakers, mostly Yamaha. I also have some RCF. I have some RCF 312A and 315A at camp. These KX Audio KX12Ps, which are actually a very upper line speaker. These retail at like a little over $3,000 a pair, but they're not quite very popular in Canada. And yeah, also the DXR 15s. The DXRs I've actually, the 15s and 12s I've had for almost 10 years. These subs I used to have the MK1 version. I just got these. But anyway, that's my collection of speakers and the fun equipment I used to test. But I did have a great day today testing out this new Yorkville YXL12P. The first thing I can say about this speaker is, holy crap, the bass that comes out of such a compact box with a 12-inch speaker will probably floor most of you. But if you're familiar with Yorkville speakers, the Parasaurus pretty much have the same thing, and the NX. It's a heavily processed deep bass, especially when you use the club mode, which is definitely the mode that most DJs will be using. But let's have a quick look at the back mixer section before we get into the sound of the cabinet. You have one handle in back here, but also handle on the side and some feet for monitor mode. So let's look at this beautiful mixer section that Yorkville has included. This speaker, I forgot to mention, at a retail price of $5.99 a piece for the 12P. There's also a 10P. I think that one is $5.49 or $4.99. And the 15P, I'm not even sure if they're on. I don't think they're on sale yet. But the active sub, the 15-inch sub, is $9.99 retail and weighs in at 62 pounds. So that's another thing to consider if you want a nice compact system with comprised of tops and subs. But anyway, let's look at this mixer section here. Very nice and complete. I personally, I'm using the external mixer, so I just plugged into this main XLR in. You do have a master there. But if you choose to add some instruments or an MP3 player or whatnot, you can engage the mixer section. So the mixer enable in and out. And you can use these extra channels. Channel 1 and 2 are combination XLR 1/4 inch. The first channel is more instrument 1/4 inch, where you can plug in a guitar, bass, keyboard. Second one is a line 1/4 inch, which you can also plug instruments, I'm guessing. Depending on the impedance, you might have some issues with guitars and stuff, but that's another story. Both of these actually have phantom power, so if you're using a condenser microphone, that's good to know. You do have phantom power built in. As for the third channel, it's a stereo channel where you can plug in aux, a 1/8 inch cable from an MP3 player or whatnot, and you also have the possibility to use the Bluetooth. I've actually tried the Bluetooth, works fantastically. I use it with my phone running Apple Music, and it was flawless. No problems hooking up, sounded great. So, like I said, a very, very well-equipped mixer section for a $600 cabinet from Yorkville. So that's something to consider if you're looking for something that's really flexible. Even if you're a musician, someone who plays a lot of outdoor events, just an acoustic show or something, this is something that's going to be important to you. So there you go. You do have that's not the plug that comes with it. That's a locking IEC, but just a power button. They are designed in Canada. I'm going to guess they're probably made in China. That's to be expected at this price range. But overall, a very nice looking cabinet with tons of features. And we'll just flip it around once again to show you the beautiful front of the speaker as well. So now the big question, how did they sound, Al? Did you compare them to your other speakers? How do they compare? How do they fit in? And what's your opinion of the sound of the speaker? So first thing, as mentioned, you'll notice is the very strong, deep bass response in the club mode. I forgot to mention there's 3 sound modes. Sorry about that. There is a monitor, mode, which you'll use if you're using them as monitors, obviously on the stage in a live sound situation. It basically removes a lot of the deeper bass and offending frequencies to prevent feedback, if I recall correctly. The live mode has a bit more bass than the monitor mode, but definitely nowhere near as much as the club mode. And the live mode just has a bit more of a boost in the mid and vocal frequencies, from what I heard. As for the club mode, it is exactly what it sounds like. It applies a crap load of bass to that woofer, which, it's both a blessing and a curse, depending on how loud you're playing it. At low to medium volumes, you're going to say, holy shit, is there ever tons of bass out of the speaker? And you would be correct in your assumption. This thing outperforms any speaker I have here in terms of deep bass at low to medium volume, except for the subs, obviously. But they go very low. Frequency response goes down to 47 hertz. That's a plus or minus 3 decibel. So that is a very nice frequency response for such a small cabinet. As mentioned, that's the first thing that really stuck out to me, is how deep and fat this thing sounds. Now, as I was mentioning, it is both a blessing and a curse at the same time. Why do I say that? That's because once you get at really loud levels, obviously, a 12-inch woofer with a 2-inch voice coil can only move so much air before it goes into over excursion, and it needs to be protected. So once you get into those higher volumes, as is the case with the NX and the Parasource and the Elites as well, because they have the club mode as well, there's obviously a frequency filter that kicks in to protect the woofer. And it is definitely audible. I had no problems running the volume, and as soon as I went a little bit higher, I automatically heard it as soon as the woofer was cut off, or the deeper frequencies were cut off. I'm guessing it's cut off somewhere around 60 or 65 hertz, so it still does keep some bass, or maybe 70 hertz, I don't know. It does keep some bass, it's still audible, but that really strong deep bass you had right at the beginning is obviously not there anymore, and that's obviously due to physical limitations of a 12-inch woofer. I can imagine it's even worse than the 10-inch. I'm not sure I agree with such a deep, strong boost with such small woofers. I personally would prefer, I do like the bass boost. It sounds magnificent. But if I'm going to be doing that and not using subs, I'm going to want a 15-inch woofer. So if you're not using subs and you want something that kicks and will keep its composure even at high volumes, I would definitely opt for the YXL15P if you're not using subs. If not, maybe just get the 10Ps pull mounted on the YXL subs. But anyway, a useful range, a pair of these will actually probably do many smaller events, and they sound better than anything that was out like 10, 15, 20 years ago, because the first active speakers I had really were not great. These are a step up from a lot of the stuff, and to say that these are entry level cabinets, you're really getting a lot for your money and a great sound. How do they compare to the rest? Every single speaker here has their particular sonic traits, and they can all be EQ'd or adjusted to your personal taste. The one thing, while the bass on these, they go lower than pretty much any top I have here, the top end and mids are not quite as nice as most of them. While they do sound good, they do have some good mids, and the top end is okay. If I compare it to the mids and top end on the DXRs, for example, there's just the DXRs have a nice, crisper, open-y, airy kind of top end to them, and nice, sweet upper mid range with to complement that top end. While the Yorkville does have some top end, but it's not quite as crisp. It doesn't sound quite as good, not quite as open. It's a bit more muffled. But like I said, you're comparing an entry level speaker here to a higher end speaker, different components, and you can probably EQ it a little bit to get some more of that sweetness in there. Most people will still be very, very happy with the overall sound of it. It does not sound quite as good to me as the Parasaurus or the NX on the top and mid, but that's to be expected at its price range. I'm guessing it's slightly, maybe I'm guessing it's a cheaper compression driver. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just EQ'd differently, but it is still Yorkville's entry line. And for that, the mids are okay and the top end is okay. It's just not quite as crisp and sweet as what you'll get from an RCF or a DXR. As for the KX, well, they're in a different league, really. These are a little over $3,000 a pair. They don't even make them anymore. The woofer has a 2.5-inch voice coil. It's a dual voice coil, and the compression driver actually has a 2.5-inch voice coil. It is a huge compression driver, so the mid clarity in these is hard to beat. As for the RCFs, they have almost no low end. They're tens, but they have almost no low end. But the XL and mids and top ends, they are a sweet sounding cabinet, very ear friendly. I play for a lot of senior groups, and they absolutely love these, and they love the fact that they have almost no bass below 70 hertz. So that's their specialty. But yeah, anyway. But as for the bass department, these guys hold their own. Obviously, it is processed. And at low to medium volumes, they do hold their own with even the bigger 15, the DXR 15s. The difference is once the volume goes up, the Yorkvilles keep up till a certain volume, then the bass kind of disappears. While the DXRs, while they didn't sound quite as fat and deep as the Yorkville in the beginning, once you get up to those higher volumes, it still sounds the same as it did when you first started it, and it just gets louder and louder, noticeably, at least a little bit louder before it starts sounding bad. So that's really much a big difference. But that's the thing with these cabinets that have a processed deep bass into them. The Yorkvilles aren't the only ones to do that, and that's the kind of trade-off. You can't expect that really strong deep bass sound to stay there at higher output levels just because it's not physically possible for any 12-inch woofer to move that much air, quite simply. So like I say, it sounds great at low to medium volumes. It still sounds good at high volumes, but you're going to lose that really deep bass. That's inevitable. So if you want really strong deep bass, essentially get subs or get the matching subs. If you're just doing mostly smaller stuff, a pair of the 12s will actually handle most small events. I'm going to say up to 100 people or so. I'd be even more comfortable using the 15Ps if you're not going to be using subs. But anyway, at their price range for the really elaborate, generous mixer section, you have Bluetooth capability, built-in power, and the nice, full, deep, fat sound. And Yorkville's 2-year, even if you break a warranty, I really think these are a good buy, especially for the beginner DJ that wants to get in and wants to start with something that'll be reliable and it's going to last them many years. So these are a much better choice than a lot of the crap that's out there for cheaper. So anyway, it's Yorkville, Canadian company. So that's been Al's review on the Yorkville YXL12P. If you have any questions, feel free. I'm not even sure. I'm going to have to re-allow the comments because I do produce a lot of content for children. So I did have to kind of activate that no comment thing. But we'll see if we can get that back for you. If not, you can always send me an email at alpoulin@hotmail.com. That's ALPOULIN @hotmail.com. And I'll definitely respond to your questions. Have a great one. Al Poulin from Party Time DJ Services. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you next time.